Latinos Are One is a show which basically involves a record producer, who's me, and 3 artists from completely different backgrounds to basically lock ourselves in the studio for a couple of days and create a piece of music that will, in a way, celebrate our similarities as Latinos. This is LR1. I'm Andres Levin. I'm a producer, artist, composer. I've worked not only on records, but on films and live shows and some Broadway shows. But my main stomping ground is the recording studio. I was born in Venezuela, raised in North Carolina and New York, involved in and out of recording studios since I was 7, 8 years old. My dad does electronic music in Venezuela. My dad's name is Luis Levin. He's a professor in the university in Venezuela, but he's a musician and continues to have a band. They've been together for over 30 years called Música Automática. I think probably my earliest musical recollection of bands that I would listen to on the Latin side were obviously the greats, Oscar de León, Venezuela, Fania, Perlabo, all the classics, tons of rock, you know, Zeppelin and Hendrix was huge influence. When I finished high school in Venezuela, I applied for a full scholarship at Berklee College of Music, and I got one. A couple semesters in Berklee, and then I came to New York, went to Juilliard, and studied composition, and at the same time started working at recording studios. At the time, I got a job with Nile Rodgers as his, assistant and programmer, and basically, ended up working on my first records when I was 18, and at 19, I got the chance to produce my first album. That led to me working with Chaka Khan and Tina Turner and Gladys Knight and all the divas all of a sudden. So I spent like 2 years doing soul and R&B and nothing to do with Latin music. So I was always kind of in a bipolar world because I loved soul music, I love hip hop, and then most of the Latin bands and Brazilian bands. Out of that bipolarism, I met Cucu Diamantes and we started Yerba Buena. My whole life has been fusion, and it's always been about trying to make things make sense. It's almost like creating a sound that's very familiar because it feels like you've heard it before, but you can't really identify what it is. We're, here in New York at the Magic Shop, blessed with a lot of great positive energy. I've done tons of records here, and it's, I think, the perfect place for this lab that's gonna basically start today. What's exciting about LR1 is the fact that, I've invited 3 different artists from 3 different parts of the country, 3 different backgrounds, and most importantly, 3 different styles of music. Debbie is Costa Rican lives in LA, so has that kind of the whole West Coast vibe. Jean is Peruvian, New York, from the Bronx, and Velcro, Mexican, Dominican parents, lives in Puerto Rico. They're all young, up-and-coming artists, and everybody comes from a different musical background, so it's not like we're doing anything that's in the comfort zone of any particular person. My role as the producer is to kind of edit and create the space, the creative space for each person's voice to work in this, piece of art, piece of music that we're going to create. I'm excited to put everybody in the room and start taking them to a place that's kind of unexpected. And maybe that's what the song's going to be about.
Coming up next on LR1, Velcro, an MC with diverse roots and musical influences.
Growing up around all that multicultural musical influence nurtured a sense of identity where borders don't really matter. It doesn't really matter where it's from or even what it is, as long as it's good.